guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Lexi and today I am here with the mid-year book freakout tag. I cannot believe that it is time to film this again. Every year I get to this point and I film it and I say the same thing, and I also end up forgetting to edit the video and posting it in August. So it is currently the 10th of July. I am filming this halfway through the year, but we will definitely see when I get it up.
One eternity later.
I am also in the middle of the plus size readathon. If it's past July 31st when you're watching this, then go catch up on the old vlogs. I will leave them linked up here. Also, I did obviously cut my hair. I actually cut this myself. I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. I've got some layers, you know. I think I did pretty well for someone who's never done it before. And now, without further ado, let's just jump straight into the questions because there is quite a lot of them. Question number 1 is, what is your best book? And for this, I'm going to have to go with Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. As you can see, I tabbed quite a lot of pages. There was so many parts of this book that I loved, and I actually read it this year as a reread. I loved it when I read it last year, but I just really wanted to read it again because I just had this craving to go back to these characters. They are literally so lifelike, they're so real, and the sort of story that they go through is just really important, and I think it's a pretty great modern love story. I may read something better, but I really think this will be in the top spot. I did have it in, I think, my top 5 last year. Let's have a look. In my reading journal, I did a spread for my, I think it was top 10 of last year. Yeah, so I did a top 10 and I ranked that book 5. That was the spread if anyone is interested. It also just felt a lot more relevant to me this year. Definitely a new favorite.
I love you, bitch. Oh my God. I ain't gonna never stop loving you.
The second question is the best sequel you've read this year. I didn't really love the sequels that I read this year, so for this I've chosen to go with Homebody by Rupi Kaur. So this is her, I believe, second or third piece of poetry work, and I really loved it. I actually loved it more than Milk and Honey. That's why I thought it sort of deserved this place. I don't actually have it with me. I did borrow it from one of my besties. I found some parts of it super relatable and then some parts more ambiguous. So I think there would be a pretty wide range of readers who would enjoy this book. So definitely look into it if you're after something quick to read as well. The third question is a new book release that you haven't read but you want to. So for that, I'm going with Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. So I know I will get to this. This is part of my plus size readathon TBR, and I'm pretty sure it's a new release. Don't actually know, but it's new to me, so we're gonna use it. And yeah, this again deals with sort of a modern love story. So both of the main characters are in like the cosplay and fan fiction area, and they sort of come together. As you can see, they're pretty unconventional. So I'm super excited to learn more about this romance.
Okay.
The fourth question is your most anticipated release for the rest of the year. For me, that would definitely be the Girls with Sharp Sticks book 3. So I loved book 2. I probably even loved book 2 more than book 1. And it's just a really awesome dystopian kind of young adult novel. And I just thought that it had amazing characters. The plot was very fast paced. You were never bored. As soon as I finished it, I was ready for the third book. So I'm definitely excited for that one to come out soon. I know it will be a good time, and I really hope that we get a few more answers. The next question is your biggest disappointment. So I didn't really have a book for this, but the closest thing I could think of was The Project by Courtney Summers.
Disappointed!
I liked this book. I really had a good time reading it. I read it super fast and it is still like a pretty high rating read. It just was different to what I expected and different to what was portrayed in the blurb as well. So I think that's why I was left feeling a little bit disappointed with it. I absolutely loved Sadie. I thought that was such a good book. I'm pretty sure it's in quite a lot of my videos on here. So I was really looking forward to this. But like I said, it wasn't super disappointing. It just didn't quite meet my levels of expectations. So definitely still pick it up if you have an interest in it. I still would recommend it, but just go into it aware that it is a bit different to what you expect. The next question is new favorite author. So for that, I've gone with Crystal Sutherland. She's actually an Aussie author who has done House of Hollow and another book that actually made this list. This was the first book I read of hers and I absolutely loved it. It had all the spooky sort of vibes. It would be perfect for an October read.
All these ghosts, and I still can't find a boo.
And it just is very unexpected. It sort of goes somewhere where you wouldn't expect it to, which I really, really loved. And yeah, definitely the second book that I read from her really solidified that she is in my top authors. The next question is new favorite character. And again, for this, I didn't have something that came to mind straight away, but I've chosen to go with Fairy from the Akatar series. Out of the 3 books, I actually loved book 1 the most, but I read book 2 and 3 this year. I really did not get the hype of book 2. It just was my least favorite out of the series. And then with this book, it was really like the last part that saved it for me. The last part just entirely brought up the whole series, definitely brought up this book and Fairy as a character. So I do definitely have a lot more respect for her after the 3rd book, even though I loved her in the 1st book, if that makes sense. The next question is a book that made you cry, and for that, it was definitely Our Chemical Hearts by Crystal Sutherland. I didn't think it was going to be an emotional read. Like, I read the back and was just like, oh, okay, like another YA romance. But it was so much more than that. I would have annotated the crap out of it, but it is actually my friend's copy. There was just so many beautiful points in this book, and the ending just absolutely broke me. I literally cried after I read this.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
And keeping with this theme, moving on to the next question, which is favorite adaptation, I will have to go with the movie version of this book. It wasn't as good. Like, I think they missed out on quite a few important parts of the novel, but I did still really enjoy it. It did talk about majority of the concepts from the book that I think were portrayed really well. So I do hope to read some more from Crystal Sutherland. I think she's great so far. And the final question is the most beautiful book that you've bought this year. So of course I'm going to have to go with How the King of Elfame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. So this one here is the Fairy Loot edition. So it's literally stunning. Even inside you've got the gold. And then we have this beautiful foiled hardcover. The story itself was also amazing. It was everything I expected and more. I rated that, I'm pretty sure, a 5 out of 5 star, and I did read it right at the start of the year. I think it's also a good way to go back to that world if you wanted to without reading the entire series again. And I highly recommend it even if you haven't read the series but you want to get into it or you want to see if you would like it. And even the regular paperback copy is beautiful as well. I just loved the series so much, so I knew I wanted the special edition. Thank you guys so much for watching. That is, I believe, all of the questions. I have so much fun filming this every year, and it's a really good opportunity to look back on everything you've read. Definitely let me know down below if you've done the tag. I'd love to check out your videos as well, and make sure you leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!